Welcome, friends. This week, I would love to chat about this experience as an entrepreneur that I don't know if you've had, but I've definitely had this experience multiple times, which is like wanting to burn your business down. And recently, I was chit chatting with a friend about how entrepreneurship can be really messy. And, sometimes when we find ourselves in that mess, right, like wanting to burn the business down, you kind of feel weird about it, or like maybe I shouldn't be feeling this way. And I think it's because a lot of times we don't talk about the more messy parts of entrepreneurship. I think that there is a lot of glorification that happens with entrepreneurship, right? And even some shaming. I have personally witnessed entrepreneurs talking down or minimizing folks who work a 9 to 5 or, work within a traditional corporate or organizational structure. And y'all, there is no need for that. Honestly, entrepreneurship is like part of an ecosystem that, in my opinion, can lead to our personal and collective liberation, right? Like, we need folks in corporate, we need folks at startups and nonprofits and small businesses and governments, like everywhere. And so everyone doesn't need to be in entrepreneurship, doesn't need to be an entrepreneur, sorry, doesn't need to be in entrepreneurship, nor do folks want to. But anyway, it's my little rant there about the messy parts of entrepreneurship and how folks can, be doing too much sometimes. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here is that often when you think of entrepreneurship, right, like you think about freedom and money and work from anywhere lifestyle. And, that's true, right? It's very accurate about entrepreneurship. It can give you those things and a whole lot more. But as I was saying before, there are these very like messy, complicated, nuanced parts of the journey that I think we need to be really honest about, right? Like, we need to be honest about the totality of the entrepreneurial experience. And if you're tuning in and you're an entrepreneur, I know for a fact, please let me know if I'm bugging, if I'm alone in this, but I know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, that you've had those moments where you just want to say, fuck it. I'm just going to burn this thing. I'm going to start over. Yes? Yes. As I shared before, like, I've been there many times at different parts of my entrepreneurial journey. I've seen folks in my circle go through that. I've seen my clients go through the same thing. And, if you're tuning in and you're kind of in that place right now, please know that this is so normal. It is common. And in my opinion, it's to be expected, right? Entrepreneurship is tough. We know that. And in many ways, especially if you're a person of color, right, you're trailblazing within your community or your lineage. And you're doing amazing, incredible things without a blueprint or less access than, say, I don't know, some of your white peers. So you're not going crazy, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with you. I have noticed, however, that when we do get that feeling of wanting to burn the business down, it's typically because, one or a combination of the following things is happening. Okay. One, you feel really uncomfortable being a beginner. And listen, being a beginner is hard, period. But, and also, if you are a high achiever, right, I find that this is especially hard for us, right? We're smart, we're capable, we get things done. And most of the time, we get things done quickly and extremely well. Yes? Yes. We have high standards and we consistently meet or exceed them. It's just like how we're built. It's how like we operate. It's just how it is, right? And historically, we've been rewarded for this in dollars and degrees and awards, or like whatever the thing is in your field. And as an entrepreneur, you have got to get used to being a beginner over and over again. Why? Because your business, especially if you run a small business that you're still working in, it's going to evolve, right? Like, and that doesn't mean a 180-degree evolution all the time. Sometimes it's just a 2-degree change, but it's a change nonetheless, right? It's the iterative cycle of business building that I speak about frequently, right? When we change or we find ourselves and the business at a new place, like, you have to remember that you're not a beginner at step zero. You're a beginner at maybe step 5 or step 10 or like whatever the thing is for you. You're just at the beginning of the next cycle. You're not at the beginning of the entire journey, right? And so that reframe might be helpful if, you are a high achiever and you're used to things, happening quickly, and, being a beginner is hard. Like, that reframe can be really helpful, that you're not starting from zero. And in fact, something that I like to do when I find myself here is just reminding myself that I stand on the shoulders of the hard work, the outcomes, and the lessons that I learned in the previous cycle or phase or season. Right? I'm not walking into the next phase blind or without tools. On the contrary, I'm actually walking in with all of the tools that I need to blow this next thing out of the water, whether that's a project, a business, a season, like whatever it is, like, I am equipped. And so that's really, really helpful in terms of reframing this discomfort or this experience of the discomfort of being a beginner. So that's one. We want to burn the business because we feel uncomfortable being a beginner. 2, sometimes when we want to burn the business down, right, it's because like some way, right, like somehow what you're doing or how you're doing it is no longer aligned for you or with what you want to do. Remember, the business is a mirror and a reflection of you and your inner world as its leader. So naturally, as you change, the business will change. It has to change. Folks, please stop resisting the change. Anyway, sometimes that misalignment, right, will make itself known through your feelings, right? So, for example, if you're feeling resentful or frustrated in the business, right, like things aren't going how you're planning them, or like clients are being a pain in the ass, or systems aren't working, like whatever it is for you, right, like that can just be a signal for you to just take a beat. Let's just pause, right? Like, just do some like self inquiry here. Like, what is going on? Like, is what I'm doing still aligned? Does this thing still bring me joy? Do I still want to be doing this? Like, we have got to ask ourselves that often. And I know you could be rolling your eyes right now, like, Josie, I don't want to be doing all of that. But y'all, you are a human being and you will evolve. The business is going to evolve with you. That doesn't mean that you need to make a change every day, every week, every quarter, but you have got to be honest and really have that clarity so that you're not banging your head on the wall, right? Frustrated. And so I think too that for those entrepreneurs that have kind of a nice, well oiled machine in their business, like, you especially have to pay attention to this because, I think that sometimes when your business is a well oiled machine, we just automatically assume that it's still in alignment. And sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't, right? The business can become misaligned with you and still be doing well on paper, right? Like, you're signing clients and you're making money and this, that, and the third. But if you don't have the awareness that there's something else happening, right? Like, you're not attuned to your emotions, then you can miss that important signals that are being presented to you, right? And so that's 2. If you're feeling like you want to burn the business down, you really want to be asking yourself what your emotional experience is communicating to you about alignment. 3, If you find yourself wanting to burn your business down, you might be too far in, right? To see the bigger picture. And, as the CEO, as the holder of the vision of your business, this has to be a priority for you, right? Perhaps you're lacking community, right? And thought partnership, right? You're wearing all of the hats, you're overwhelmed, you're solopreneur. And when that is the case, it's hard to see a different perspective. Understandably so, you're doing all of the things. If that is the case for you, you have got to prioritize finding support. Find your community, hire a coach, join a container or a mastermind or whatever feels good and supportive to you. Folks, this is not a nice to have. This is a must have for you and your business, especially as the CEO. Okay. So, to wrap up here, I just want to reiterate that wanting to burn your business to the ground is normal. It is to be expected. Entrepreneurship is wildly, wildly rewarding and also wildly messy. Okay. And having these experiences is part of that mess. It's a beautiful mess, Call it cliche or whatever, call it corny, but that's how I see it. Okay. And listen, let's be honest here. Sometimes, you want to burn your business down, and it is actually time for you to burn the business down. Other times, it's not necessarily that. It's that the desire to do that is a signal that something else is going on or needs to happen, right? And it's trying to get your attention. Our emotions, our emotional experience is data, it's information, right? And as a business owner, as a CEO, like you're no stranger to mining through data, right? Like you're no stranger to looking and sifting through data and trying to make sense of it. Your emotional experience is no different. Okay. Please, please, please find your community, get the support that you need. This is not a nice to have, this is a non negotiable. Okay. If I haven't made my point sufficiently clear, I'll say this last thing. In order to be a legacy builder, in order to be a strong leader, in order to be a change maker, you need to be well resourced. As such, please prioritize that. All right, friends, that's all for now. I'll catch you next week.